Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and that is Dylan. We have a channel here where we talk about all your favorite Marvel, DC, and pretty much anything superhero-themed movie and TV shows. And if you enjoy the kind of content we make here, the podcast, discussion, analytic kind of stuff from your favorite comic book experts, then let us know in the comments down below and give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about the latest, issue of What If, number 3. Which I don't know the actual name of it. What is the actual name of it?
It's like something like, what if the Earth's mightiest heroes were stupid and died or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I've got to say, I hated the first episode of What If. The last two have really hooked me. The general plot of this, just in case you decided you're going to watch us before the show, which I don't know why you would, Nick Fury's trying to assemble the Avengers. They're all one by one dying, starting with the supposed invitation to Tony Stark, and then everyone else on the roster begins to go down one by one.
Yeah.
That's basically it, until we discover who the big bad villain is, and we'll get to that when we discuss it. I like this in particular because, like the Star-Lord episode, this didn't feel like they tried to condense a movie down into 30 minutes. This felt like, here's the idea for the show, and we're going to spend 5 minutes in each Avenger, and then we're going to give you the big reveal. And I liked it, because nothing felt cut off. Nothing really felt rushed. I'm still not really digging the animation, but it's growing on me, definitely. Mm-hmm. The biggest oddity I had in this one, was just hearing somebody else voice Tony Stark alongside MCU actors.
Sure.
That threw me off just a little. Like, if it was just everyone was being voiced by somebody else, whatever, I'm used to that.
Yeah.
But to hear Samuel L. Jackson and then the other Tony Stark talk.
Did Lake Bell's Black Widow not bother you? It was
that one definitely did, but I couldn't tell.
Yeah. I love Lake Bell,
Same.
So I'll just give her a pass, but it ain't Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded like somebody trying very close to get to Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Enough
she was
that I
doing
was
her thing.
kind of like, enough that I was just kind of like, have I just never really paid attention to how Scarlett Johansson sounds? Like, that was more what was going through my head at that moment, was like,
Sure.
Maybe she just sounds really different in the voiceover booth. You know, like,
yeah. Some of them do, like Michael Douglas, for example.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
but
the problem that I had with the previous episode, I still sort of have with this one, is that a lot of the, returning actors do sound different to some extent. And who knows why that is, whether it's they're not acting as much or they're not used to voice acting. Or
it could be direction.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo sounded off when I heard it. Like, Samuel L. Jackson, I was able to, like, okay, cool, that's fine. That's Nick Fury. But Mark Ruffalo's banner just didn't sound right. Like, when he first spoke, I was like, okay, it's Mark Ruffalo. Mm-hmm. But that's not Mark Ruffalo. Like,
Right. See, for me, Sam Jackson sounded off. Like, he sounds like Sam Jackson, but he's done other cartoons where he's great. And in this, he's not. He's really flat. And it's just, I think it all comes down to the direction. It's why, like, Andrea Romano is hailed on the shoulders of giants, because she's just able to elicit terrific performances from people. So it is with Brad Bird, who directed The Incredibles. He's Frozone. He's great.
Yeah.
Now, it could be age, because Frozone is like a 25-year-old character. But, I've seen movies with Samuel L. Jackson in them from a year ago, and he's better than he is in this show. Now, I'm not complaining about the episode necessarily, but it's one of those things where we're going to take for granted the idea that this is in the MCU and this is an alternate version of the movie. You don't need to get the actors. Like, it's an argument I've always had when it comes to animated movies, where they're like, ladies and gentlemen, look at this 19-name cast of actors that would never do a cartoon being in the new Minions movie. And I'm not sold on that. Like, I would rather just watch a movie and be entertained or moved by the voice cast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, you could do that with this and no one will complain. The best Marvel animated show is Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Not a single MCU actor appears. Not a single stage or movie actor appears on that show.
They got voice actors.
They got voice actors, and they sell it, and it works masterfully. And some of them are playing versions like the Tony Stark actor who's trying to sound like Robert Downey Jr. So it's like, you're still doing it, and your audience will forgive it. They don't need these people in the booth. I get it. You can afford them. Use the money on the animation budget.
Agreed.
I was like, thoughts, Dylan? I don't want you to be quiet for this whole episode. I know you're just waking up, but
that was the same argument I had about Invincible. Basically, it was just like, yeah, you can get these people, you have the budget for it, but this is an animation show. Maybe put it where it needs to be. And I get it. Like, I get.
Well, that was our issue with Invincible. Like half of it, like the animation needs work.
Right.
But don't worry, we got Steven Yeun, we
got Walton Goggins, who is like one of the best. He's excellent. Like, he's one of the few where it's like, listen, if you cast like a bunch of movie actors, yes, one or two of them are going to be really good at voiceover and like maybe learn that for the first time. Holy crap, I might be able to have another career. But for the most part, it's going to fall flat, and it kind of does in this episode. But I don't want to crap on it too much. I will say it was kind of fun to see Mark Ruffalo retconned into the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was especially when he hulked out and he still looked like Ed Norton Hulk and not Ruffalo Hulk, which I found strange.
Right? Well, because it's a metamorphosis. It's like, no.
Right.
In that week, I looked weird.
He looked like that.
So overall, the plot, though, let's go over the plot, because I think voice acting is something we're probably going to complain about each and every week with this show.
Yeah, no one's going to care.
Because my general issue, the plot for this I actually really did enjoy, but my general issue is, it's just, I don't know why it's like they're trying too hard to make an animation feel like the MCU, when I feel like this should feel like an Avenger show. That's what I feel like.
Because they're trying to sell it as an MCU supplement. They're like, no, this is as indispensable as Loki or WandaVision or an Avengers movie. Like, you should feel like you need to watch this show, as opposed to, we made this great show and we hope you watch it. No, you need to see this. It's indispensable.
Which is like completely contrary to what if is. Like, the whole point of it is that it's just nonsense that we spend one issue on. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what?
Right?
So the plot itself, though, I really enjoyed this plot, because it also just kind of jumping to our villain is, it also kind of retcons Hank into like the origins, brings him like, I know in Ant-Man they established Hank's been around and he knew Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., but this like shows that he did know, and that Hope was a part of it and all of this stuff. Yeah. I really liked the way they did that, and they also answered the question of, can Ant-Man get up somebody's butt and kill them? I'm assuming that's what he did with Hulk. I mean,
he went into his heart, but he made his heart all big.
Yeah, he made a big heart. I don't know. That was weird.
The butt is better.
Yes,
sure.
I've seen a fan poster of that, by the way. It's like, what if, and it says like, what if Infinity War, and it's like it's an upward shot of Ant-Man like jumping up Thanos' butt.
Finally.
But I liked the idea that they also weren't able to save them all. Like, it wasn't a situation of like, oh, Tony Stark went down, and we solved Hulk, and we solved Thor.
Right.
I also so why did you kill Thor? Oh, you were going to try to use him. I knew you were. Like
that, for me, that betrays the whole like issue I have with this episode, which was like, it's pretty flimsy. Like, I don't know. It was billed as kind of like a whodunit murder mystery kind of, dinner theater kind of episode where it's like Matlock. I was like, oh, cool, I guess. But as we get further and further down, killing more and more Avengers, I'm just like, okay, but like, why? And then the reveal, and I'm like, that you didn't set that up. Like, you didn't set that up.
I think it would have worked better if we. Well. I think as a fan of murder mystery, I get what they went for. They didn't want you to figure it out. I do think this episode would have been stronger. Or they didn't want you to. They wanted you to just be like, who's going to die next? Like, that's what they wanted you to do.
Exactly.
I think they could have easily set it up as even given it a slight setup if maybe Hank was on the team. Like, he was helping them figure it out. That would have helped. Yeah. But then you couldn't have had him look like he's insane by the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or retcon him to becoming Yellow Jacket, which was a fun nod, callback / use of that idea. I was like, oh, cool, Hank's Yellow Jacket. Like, he's a crazy person. That's cool.
Yeah.
But when Black Widow puts it together and she's like, it's Hope, I'm like, yeah, but if I've never seen an Ant-Man movie, I don't even know who Hope is.
I love the Ant-Man movies, and her saying it's Hope. Yeah, it's all about hope. That was what she said. It's all about hope.
Yeah.
I still didn't make that connection. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, are they trying to kill the hope of the world by killing the
Right.
Avengers? Like, that's what I thought. Like,
Well, I think they want you to do that. They're like, if you're like really dialed into the MCU, you'll know it's Hope Van Dyne. But on the other hand, they also wanted it to be Hope so that it could mean two different things. And you could think like, oh, they're trying to destroy the hope of everyone's belief in the Avenger, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. It's just there was no setup for Hank being. It was just like, well, we have these characters and one of them's a villain now. And I'm like, okay, but it would have been stronger if you had maybe retconned in that like Hank was, like Benny said, part of the Avengers Initiative. Like maybe he's like a consultant with Sam, Nick Fury, you know, like explaining things or just establishing that at some point.
if I have to pick a nitpick, like
Yeah.
if I'm going to nitpick something, that would be my biggest issue. Because how did he find out about the Avengers Initiative? Are we going to assume that he has just been shrunken down in Nick Fury's pocket?
Right.
Like,
Just
or Nick
reading over
Fury's
his
just
shoulder?
leaving it lying around? Like,
Right. I mean, I assume that Hank is part of it, or at the very least was considered for it originally. Like,
Probably
I don't know.
consulted, like Stark
Yeah.
was.
Right. This was not my favorite episode. This was probably the weakest one for me, and it was only because, like, I like a good murder mystery, and I like a good, whodunit, or at the very least a smaller episode, because despite the fact this is a massive episode, because at the end, the world is taken over, but, like, I don't know. I didn't...
that was
I
an
wasn't-
interesting twist. And then they kept going. Like,
Yeah,
I wasn't
like,
even
oh,
like
we're
a fun
gonna-
cliffhanger. We're still doing it. Oh, and now I took over, and here's how I did it. Wait,
Yeah.
what? Now
Yeah,
we're a
that
Loki movie.
It literally, like, about 2/3 through the episodes, I'm like, well, how is Hank going to kill Captain America? Is he going to go to Antarctica and go get his body? Like, what's going to happen with that? But I liked I kind of liked that they just kept it going. That they weren't like, no, we wanted to do a murder mystery and it's over and that's it. No, like it has implications. It has an effect on the universe, and so here's where we're gonna go from here. And it's not just
Right.
all hopeless, but also, you know, look at what we did with Loki. That's kind of fun. And I was like, yeah, this is fun, but you know, I wasn't on the edge of my seat. I wasn't like, yeah. I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this and the previous episode have started to make me think that they are going to come back to these universes at some point in some fashion.
Yeah, big time.
And like obviously the first one has such like a big like Agent Carter is such like a merchandisable character that they can do stuff with. But
Totally.
Right.
the way that they kind of like, you know, they told the whole story in that one, but
Yeah.
this last episode and last week's both are very open-ended, and they
Yep.
set up big changes that, like, I mean, we're getting a Loki season 2. I would not be surprised if this Loki shows up.
Oh,
I conquered my world. My brother
check
had
me
to
out.
die.
I'm awesome. But yeah, I echo your guys' criticisms about it as well with because I just feel like the whole like Hank Pym, Hope Pym stuff just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it really does read as like as like the biggest mistake you can make with a whodunit is to completely ignore everything that your audience thinks is happening and just blindside them with something else that was not
Yes.
set up at all.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. Like halfway through the episode, I was like, "Oh, this is fun." Loki came to Earth like a year earlier with
Yeah.
a better plan, and this is what happens if he would have done that.
Yeah.
But then it's like, "Oh no, Loki's like being nice," and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Maybe he's doing like he set this up so that he could conquer Earth, which is more tight, I think."
Yeah.
But then it's just Yellow Jacket, and I was like, "Okay, this is fun to see crazed Yellow Jacket," but
yes.
it's
Theory.
weird.
What if that yellow jacket falls through the multiverse, because how did they end up killing him off the end? It was Loki, right? Loki takes him?
Does he die? I don't remember.
No, Loki
just goes
takes
to
him
jail.
away. Yeah, no, he doesn't go to jail.
Well, he goes to
gives him
Asgardian
Loki.
jail. That's right.
Oh, okay.
But what if that's the yellow jacket in the ending of the Loki series that we saw big?
Oh.
Like the
Tying
big
it
head
all
version?
together. Ah!
I guess.
Sure.
Why
Probably
would
not
it be
a head
yellow
in there.
jacket in there? Why are they using yellow jacket so much other than the really cool design?
It is a cool design. That was it. I think that was all. Well, plus, like, you can get a lot of mileage out of a microscopic murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it is a very I think it's clear that they want to come back to this, and if they don't, then like I don't know what form that'll take. Like I know back when we talked about this trailer, I said that they were going to cherry pick things that people liked and make a live action something out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be the case. Probably not. but I could definitely see them, especially since, Sal, like you said, like they want people to think that this is like part and parcel MCU, like a drop-in thing. It's the next big thing. I'd be very surprised if they don't revisit this in some form down the line.
We're getting another season out of the show already, so yeah, we're gonna do that. I still firmly believe we're gonna have the Watcher like form his own little Avengers of multiversal characters. The question is, which one from this world are we gonna get?
Cap.
I doubt it's
Probably.
It's just Cap from every world.
Awesome. We already have Agent Carter. We don't need Cap.
It's a
but
Cap
it's like
army.
a grizzled Cap.
It's a Cap that
fought
didn't have to. Yeah, he didn't have to put up with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I guess.
All
I
right,
don't know.
guys, this has been Absolutely Marvel and DC reviewing the third episode of What If. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and that is Dylan. And if you enjoy this type of content where we just kind of deep dive and analyze each of the episodes, give you our opinions, nitpick all the fun stuff within it, check us out. Every day we bring you something involved in the world of superheroes, be it a Marvel, DC, or other property discussion. We talk about movies, shows, and other random theories. Stick around. We'll be here a while.